scrapper.com. In this episode of the ABCs of Simple Scrapbooking, I want to talk to you a little bit about white space. Most often when you think about white space, you're thinking about the negative or blank space that you left on a layout. Now that's just one of 3 different types of white space that I want to talk about today. White space is a way to reduce the visual complexity of your page so that you can have a more clean and simple design. In this example here, I've used a basic 2x2 grid, and I've included white space around the edge in sort of a symmetrical fashion so that the layout is more balanced and more visually appealing. If I had made this a giant 4x4 grid, it might be a little overwhelming. White space doesn't have to be symmetric. It can be asymmetric, such as in this layout. You can see this is the white space on the page. It can be kind of a medium amount of white space, or it can be an even larger amount of white space, as you can see here. You may have heard the term called white space scrappers, and often those are digital scrapbookers who include even more white space on their page than I have here. What got me really thinking about white space and other types of white space in simple scrapbooking was this Wikipedia entry. And it says, white space should not be considered merely blank space. It is an important element of design, and let's take design loosely here, which enables the objects in it to exist at all. The balance between positive or non-white and the use of negative spaces is a key to aesthetic composition. So what I'd like to propose here is that white space is an important balancer in our lives, not just on our pages, but in the rest of our lives as scrapbookers, as memory keepers, as members of our families. And so I'd like to suggest that there's 2 other types of white space as well that are important for simple scrapbookers, and that is physical white space in your home, in your life, as well as mental white space. If you're like me, your creative workspace may not be as large as you'd like it to be. So there may not be room or space to have extra white space by volume alone. For example, I would like to have the same amount of stuff and items that you see here in this photo of my new office, but in a space twice the size. So that there's more floor space, more desk space, but no more items in the room. So instead, I'd like to propose that we create white space in our lives with our possessions by eliminating the excess, by eliminating scrapbook supplies we're no longer using, ones we no longer love. We reduce the number of tools and include more tools that are multifunctional or that you use most often, and that you what's the right word here? You're very deliberate in the new items that you bring into your life. I would argue that the mental white space that you can create in your life is probably more important than even the physical white space. We can all adapt to different space constraints, but it's what goes on up here that really governs our level of satisfaction in scrapbooking. There's several different ways that you can bring white space into your mind when it comes to your memory keeping processes. You can use lists to stay more organized and know exactly what you need to do next. But you can also kind of cultivate and curate those lists so that you reduce your guilt and you're not overwhelmed. It's about not taking on too many different projects and setting up unrealistic expectations for yourself. It's knowing what's possible and what's truly achievable for you in your life and your realities right now. All that said, being organized isn't as important as really getting involved in the memory making process. I think we all need to get out from the camera, from behind our laptops, from outside of our creative rooms a little bit more, and making sure that we're spending more time with our families, documenting those memories in our brains and imprinting them in our hearts than we do putting them on a scrapbook page. I really believe that when we invite that deeper level of awareness, of connection, of being present in our lives, as when we really get to see and feel that white space enter. The ABCs of Simple Scrapbooking is brought to you by Simple Scrapper, where you can find solutions for stress-free memory keeping. Visit us at simplescrapper.com and sign up for email updates where you can get a free gift.